Cheesy intros for the
I
win,
like it. I like
baby.
it. I like it.
Awesome. Well, welcome everyone back to the AFC North Showdown where I talk. No, I'm just kidding. Welcome everybody back. This episode
Right.
obviously is about the Cincinnati Bengals. And honestly, I don't have anything negative to say about the Cincinnati Bengals. I just don't. So, I mean, whatever. I respect honestly all the teams in our division. So, like, you have to. Well, the Browns will, yeah. Anyways, so welcome
You
everyone
do
back. And yeah, it's not the Browns fans, it's the Browns as an organization. Sometimes I'm like, are you guys sure? So the fans are lovely. The organization and the owner, well, yeah, whatever. So welcome everybody back. This is my 32 fan series with 32 different people across the NFL. So we're bringing you all teams. This is clearly the Cincinnati Bengals and the AFC North because it is the best division in football. And we might have the best quarterbacks in football with Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow, and now stop it there because at this point, the Steelers, you can't trust them, and the Browns, we don't know. We just don't know yet. So I'll just leave it at that. Just so everybody knows, to level set, he knows the questions I'm going to ask. This is not a gotcha. I think you'd be surprised how many people are like, no, not. And we'll talk a little bit about Colorado. So if you're here and you're curious, we will talk a little bit about Colorado. We'll sprinkle it in there. So before I get started, I would love to know or let people know more about you, who you are, whatever you want to tell us, whatever you want us to know, and then tell us how long you've been a Bengals fan, and we'll just get into it.
Well, been a Bengals fan since 2003, pretty much when Marvin Lewis got hired. I got into football because my mom forced me to play. Like, I wanted to grow up and be a wrestler. Like, when she told me to play, we're going to football practice, I cried. I wanted to be The Rock.
Funny.
I wanted to be The Rock. I didn't want to be a football player. And then playing Madden, it just got me into it. And here we are today. Mm-hmm.
You said you wanted to be The Rock. That's hilarious. So how was the 2024 Bengals season for you? I think the Bengals had an interesting season because it was like so close but so far. So I would love to know like how the season was for you, high level overview. Good news, Joe Burrow stayed healthy. Yes. And what song do you think represents the 2024 season?
Okay, so I'll answer the last question first. Okay. My song is Try Again by Leah.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I'll have to listen to them back. That's a good one though. That's a good one.
So we got to try again. The season, it was a disappointment. I mean, obviously, NFL fans, if you saw the Bengals play, it was good football. It was exciting football, right? 40 points, 35 points. But as a fan, like the defense, I knew week one, the season was over. When we let Ramondre Stevenson, the Patriots running back, just obliterate our defensive line, linebackers, nobody could tackle. It was like, okay, we're in for a long season. At one point, I was like, tank for Travis Hunter. Tank for Travis. But then we started winning towards the end. I'm like, okay, I want y'all to win now. And then it was just, oh man, it was a roller coaster of emotion. Yes.
I could see that. And season ends. You guys literally almost made the playoffs. Like, as ugly as it might have been, as all the things that might have been, you guys almost made the playoffs. So, like, there's a lot of teams that didn't even come close to almost making it. Like, they knew right away it just wasn't going to happen. So, what is that like for you being that close and not quite being there? And then you go to the off season. How are you feeling this off season? Like, when the season ended, you probably felt one thing, but after you got a little bit for a remove, so off season. So I consider the off season as soon as your team loses until the draft, because I feel like free agency happens, all these things happen. So like, how were you feeling when the season was over, and then how do you think they did in free agency?
Yes, when the season was over, I was ready for the draft immediately.
Okay.
Free agency. Like during free agency, we picked up a big body, TJ Slade, nose tackle from the Packers. I mean, that's about it. It wasn't, but we did extend Tee Higgins.
Signed him.
So that was.
How do you feel about that?
I definitely, yes. If anything, we have to keep Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Tee Higgins. Everything else is interchangeable, but keep those three. You figure it out. Yes.
I like it. Do you think that? What is the Bengals' identity? Like, what would you say that, like, when you think about the Bengals, are you like, we're offense, then don't break defense, hope and pray? Or are you like what do you think?
Okay. What you just said, literally.
Okay. Yeah.
And Joe Burrow we trust. So that's it.
Okay. Yeah. I listen. I mean, if we had Joe Burrow, I would trust him too. So I got you.
Y'all had Big Ben for a good run, so
And I trusted him. Yeah, right. And I trusted him. So that's why I'm like, listen, I get you. I 100% understand.
People to talk of Big Ben. You don't understand as a Bengals fan watching Big Ben, and you think we got him. That he 5 people holding on to him, and he's still throwing it. I used to hate Big Ben.
Yeah. And the thing about Ben too is, if your quarterback is going to be that tough, you have no choice. Like there's no excuse. There's honestly no excuse. So I like that. Did you guys do anything in the offseason where you were kind of like, oh gosh, what are we doing?
Well, releasing our defensive coordinator, Lou Anarumo, that was a big thing in the Bengals Twitter world community. Everybody just split. It was split decisions split opinions on Lou Anarumo. I'm a huge Lou Anarumo fan. When we played the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, NFL Network, even other content creators who break down film, they was like, "Oh my goodness, he's a genius." What he did to Patrick Mahomes in the second half. But you get rid of Jesse Bates, and you expect him to put this team together, and the defense was too. They said it was too much. They were thinking too much, and so they got rid of him. We brought in Al Golden from Notre Dame, and he's supposed to be this man-to-man blitz guy. He was here in Cincinnati when we went to the Super Bowl as the linebackers coach. So that was the biggest head scratcher for me, releasing Lou Anarumo. But I understand.
Okay, that's fine. So draft rolls around. Who were you hoping they took with their first round pick? And how do you feel after the first round pick happened?
Yeah, so immediately after, I was like, really? Like, really, man? This guy only had 1.5. He had 1.5 sacks for 3 years. Now, who I wanted was the edge rusher from Tennessee. I wanted James Pierce Jr.
James Pierce, okay.
He was when I watched this tape, he was just popping off the edge. I said, "Oh, put him with Trey Henderson. Oh, we coming to get you. We coming to get you."
Yeah.
But after watching some interviews and hearing some of the intangibles, he seems like a great kid, and I wish him the best. I mean, he has all the physical traits, so maybe we can put it together. We'll see.
Does Trey Hendrickson want to leave?
No, Trey Henderson actually wants to stay in Cincinnati. He wants to be paid. But he said, if you trade me, I mean, make sure it's a good trade so y'all can win the Super Bowl too. I never heard no player say that ever before. He said, I want the Bengals to win regardless.
What a lovely human.
Never heard nothing like that before.
Yeah. He's going to attract, like, wherever he goes, they're going to take care of him just because they feel like he's going to care about them. Okay. So I know he's in the news, and I feel like too, I do a really good job of kind of staying away from the news per se. But I feel like when people like you, obviously I follow you on Twitter, and like when people though I follow start picking up stuff, I'm like, wait, is this a thing? Like, is this real? So, okay, good to know. So how do you feel like you all did in the draft? What was your favorite draft pick where you were like, yes, absolutely, I get this 100%? And then what draft pick were you like, okay, because now we're a little bit far removed. That's what I didn't say. This is recording before the schedule. This is in May, and this is before the schedule releases. So if anything happens, I don't know when you all's rookie mini camp is, or obviously there's trades happening. Spoiler alert, this is recorded when George Pickens just got traded to the Dallas Cowboys, FYI. So just so we can level set the timing here. So if after this conversation, let's say Trey Hendrickson gets dealt or gets a deal, we will not have talked about it on this episode. So
I hope it's a deal. Yeah, I hope it's a deal, right?
That's what I'm saying. So I just want to level set that. So what do you think about draft picks now that you've had a little bit of time to think about it?
Well, immediately, my favorite draft pick was Taj Brooks, the running back from Texas Tech.
Being
a Colorado fan, I'm a Big 12 guy. I know Texas was in the Big 12 at one point, so you was a Big 12 guy. So you see what's going on in the conference. Love that guy. Even Warren Sapp does the show with Neely from Colorado, and when they were playing Texas Tech, they said they kept comparing him to Le'Veon Bell, and because of his patience. He's not 6'2", but he's a very patient. He's a perfect complementary back to Chase Brown. Chase Brown is our speed back. I don't know if you remember when we played Pittsburgh. He broke off a couple big runs, even though Russell Wilson was looking like freaking Peyton Manning in that game. You remember that first game we played the Steelers?
I don't need.
Oh my goodness.
That was the game that opened up with an interception, pick 6.
Right. Yes.
And then what's kind of funny is I have certain moments when I watch football where I realize I've watched a ton of football and I'm pretty good at this. And it was that game where I was like, oh, we're gonna win this game. And people around me were like, why do you think Like, and I was like, because their defense isn't very good, and that's gonna piss off Wilson. And I knew, like, I just knew it. And sure enough, I was like, who is this Wilson?
He was. I haven't seen that in like 7 years. It was like, what?
I was like, I need this guy, but obviously that didn't
turn out. I'm done with this. I'm not doing it.
It's kind of crazy. So okay, so yeah, I know who that is. So there's that. What draft pick were you like, guys? What are we doing?
It was honestly, we took 2 linebackers back to back. It was Knight it was linebacker named Knight. I think he was from A&M or South Carolina. He's 25. Listen, I don't care, man. If you can play, you can play, right? So I wish him the best. But then we took another linebacker, Barrett Carter from Clemson. I wasn't studying linebackers. I didn't think we needed linebackers like that. So I'm like, what are we doing, right? But from all reports, he's an athlete. He's a high character guy. Dabo Sweeney, he high praise. So we'll see. And our defensive player, our new DC Al Golden his specialty is the linebacker. So
so maybe that was a pick for him. I was listening to somebody, and whoever that person is, I hope they watch this and they can tell me in the comment section it was them. And this is something that made sense about how the draft is constructed, in the sense of like, they're like in the first round or the first 2 rounds, like it's the GM's pick or something like that. And then rounds 3 through 5, it's like the head coach's pick. And then from round 6 through 7 or something like that, it's like the actual team, like the quarterback's coach or the linebackers coach or the safety's coach. And I don't know if it's true, but just even if that is true, it makes sense on why the tail end of the drafts, you're kind of like, all right. All right.
Right.
Like, if y'all want that guy,
I wish y'all the best. I mean, I wish us the best. I mean, I hope we get Ray Lewis out of this draft or something.
Right. I know that's right. Can we get one? I mean, so you're like, no, y'all can't get one, actually.
Yeah, y'all had plenty. Larry Foote, James Ferrier, James Harrison. I mean, y'all been spoiled for decades.
Can I just cry for a minute that was what we had, and now I'm like, woo, we made the playoffs. Right. We gotta lose 2 first.
Right. I mean,
it's bad when teams are like, I hope we get the Steelers first round. I'm like, thanks, guys.
Dang. Right. It's changed. It's definitely changed.
I love it. I will say, though, the only team that doesn't want the Steelers is the Ravens, which is kind of funny to me.
I love that, though. Yeah, I love that. For some reason, they are the Baltimore kryptonite. So if y'all can beat up on Baltimore for us, we can split with Baltimore. Everything's good.
That's it. So, okay. So what are I'm going to take my feelings out of this. What are your realistic expectations for the 2025 season? Do you think you all are rebuilding? I don't think so. But do you think you are, like, where are you? Are you contenders, like, for the Super Bowl? Do you think you're contenders to win the AFC North and get into the playoffs? Do you think you're contenders to, like, knock out Patrick Mahomes and go to the AFC Championship game? Like, where do you fit, or the Buffalo Bills? Like, where do you feel like the Cincinnati Bengals are at as of right now?
We're not scared of Buffalo Bills. I mean, I don't know if you saw what we did to them in the playoffs a couple years ago. And then the day that, oh my goodness, when DeMar Hamlin almost passed away, the scariest night, we were going to beat Buffalo that day. We're not worried about Buffalo. Kansas City are always, they are the new Steelers for us. I think I told you that before. They are our Steelers. Yep. So, but realistic expectations, honestly, I'm not going to go crazy this year. If we can finish second in the North, get into the playoffs, and just hope the defense can just bend but don't break. I trust our offense. I forgot to mention, we did draft 2 new offensive guards. So I'm hoping one of those guys pan out. Yeah, one of those guys pan out.
You're tired of seeing TJ Watt get to the quarterback.
Oh, my goodness. Myles Garrett. Oh, man, I got nightmares thinking about that in Cleveland.
So, I will never understand. I'm about to take a shot at Colorado, so if you don't appreciate it, sorry. I will never understand how a team can have a really good quarterback, i.e. Joe Burrow, i.e. Shedeur Sanders, and your offensive line just stand in the way. Like, shuffled in the way. Like, I just, and I get it. I'm not a football coach, right? Like, I'm not anything, but like, how does this happen?
I mean, especially that first year at Colorado, man, it was sad. It was like, they're going to kill Shedeur. They're going to kill him.
Seriously.
He's going to break him.
And what was bad is it was sad the first year. I was sad for him. The second year, though, I was pissed. Second year, I was like, guys.
Really?
This is like
really, dude. Really, dude.
We literally brought you here just for this.
Right. Oh.
Anyways, that's a different conversation. We'll get to Shador here in a second before our overtime round. So, who do you think the most underrated and overlooked like person is or position group is for the Bengals?
Right. I would say our cornerback room, honestly.
Okay.
A lot of our guys, and I'm gonna give a hot take with this. A lot of the guys were hurt last year. I mean, but Cam Taylor-Britt, he got bullied on a little bit. You know, quarterbacks was testing him a lot. But early in the year, when he was Cam Taylor-Britt, he made the Odell Beckham catch, interception against Patrick Mahomes.
Fair. Yeah, fair.
He has that ability. I mean, I remember a couple years ago, he doing a seatbelt celebration on DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf won the fight. So, but we drafted Dax Hill. He was hurt last year. DJ Turner from Michigan, 2 Michigan guys. I love those guys. We dropped Josh Newton from TCU. He's coming into his second year. Yeah, I love our cornerback room. I think if everybody stays healthy with the speed and athleticism, top 5 cornerback room in the NFL. That's my hot take. That's my hot take. That's my hot take. That's my hot take. Yes. We got 3 guys who run 4.3 speed.
My hot take is I don't think I would argue with you. I don't think I would combat that.
What?
Only because if I would combat it, any team that I could probably think of to combat it, it would have to depend on a rookie coming in and doing their job. Whereas you all kind of have it. If it works, right? If the players do the job, then they will do the job. But you're not defending, right? If you stay healthy, then you're good. But you're not depending on said, first round draft pick 20 to come in and solidify it. You're saying we have the guys already. They just need to stay healthy and do the thing. I don't necessarily disagree.
Now our safeties are trash.
Safeties are bad.
Yeah, they're bad. No, you guys are NFL players, no disrespect, but yeah, it's not the best.
No, listen, you know my rule, and you know my rule. College football, I'm a little nicer on you. When you get to the pros, if you ain't good, I'm like, no, you're making too much money for this. Yeah,
true.
So yeah, okay, that's a good take. I like that hot take actually. I like it. I think I like it. Okay, so if you were GM for one day. Okay. What would be the first move you would make?
Extend Trey Henderson immediately.
That was easy. Now, give me another one. Give me another one.
Now, well, I was going to say if it was before the draft, I would have traded Trey Henderson. I would have, but since another one.
Whoa! Yes, you don't get to just throw that out there and then back off of it. Okay. So why before the draft would have traded him, but then after you're like, okay.
Because
you think he was worth draft capital?
Yes, and there were a lot of edge rushers like James Pierce Jr. Falcons got 2 of them in the first round.
They did, yeah.
And let's just do it. Let's start over. Let's get 2 draft picks and let's reload. Now, the draft is over with. I would extend him, but if there was another thing I would do, I'm not sure. Other than, is there a trade we can make for an edge rusher out there or a safety maybe? I'm not sure. I would try to bring another safety in if there's one available or sign a veteran that's under the radar right now, somebody that can help us in the secondary. That's about it.
It's so interesting to me that if you could trade our teams, like if it could be like the Bengals offense and the Steelers defense and that's a team, could you get any
it's undefeated right
you know what I'm saying? And you would have to take our special teams though. Our kicker is better. Our special teams is better overall. Our special teams is better.
I want to speak on that because that just you don't understand. Our kicker, his rookie year, we thought he was Justin Tucker. I
know y'all did.
I don't know what happened.
That was kind of shady.
He started partying, I guess. I don't know. He hasn't been the same since.
That was kind of shady. I'll admit it was kind of shady because obviously. But so yeah, let's take the Steelers special teams plus the Steelers defense plus the Bengals offense. And I don't know who's beating us. So maybe the Eagles because they're going to be able to get to us because that offensive line with the Bengals, we're in trouble.
Yeah, that is true. It must be nice being a Philly. It must be nice being an Eagles fan right now. I just wonder what that feels like to be an Eagles. They just know, we're going to win the game.
To be fair, that's what it used to feel like being a Steelers fan.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's what, what's actually funny? I always tell people, I don't think people understand because they haven't experienced it. They don't understand what it's like when your team is good. There's a certain level of, you don't even wait. And I think that's why I don't argue with people anymore about teams. And I've been to the mountaintop. I don't got to argue with you. You're irrelevant. Like, but people are like, why don't you care? I'm like, it's that I don't even think your team is worth me arguing with. Right. Yeah. And so, yeah, I think that's interesting. So let's talk a little Colorado before we get into our overtime round. So let's backtrack a little bit. Let's talk Shedeur draft. Do you have any thoughts? I don't know if you've shared your thoughts. I've seen obviously your tweets and stuff like that, but I don't know if you've shared your thoughts in words. So do you have any thoughts about Shedeur Sanders or just anything about the draft of Colorado players, even Travis Hunter, that you would like to share? And then I would love to talk about 2025 Colorado season, like what your thoughts are and what you're thinking about it.
Awesome. Yes, I was actually I love Travis. I'm happy for Travis Hunter. I'm happy that Jacksonville traded up for him. He's going back to Florida. I mean, I just love that environment. They're going to let him be him. And that's the most important thing for him. So I'm happy for Travis Hunter. That's a great young kid right there. But I was happy LeJohntay Wester went to the Baltimore Ravens. I was like, what? Okay, let's go, LeJohntay. He can play with Lamar Jackson. I really feel like he could come in early and be a third option and receiver. Jimmy Horn. But Shedeur, watching the draft, I mean, that was draining. I mean, I just didn't understand why he fell so far. It was, I mean, Jackson Dart, okay, you like Jackson Dart, okay, that's cool. But when you start seeing guys like Tyler Shuck to New Orleans and Dylan Gabriel.
Those were the ones that got me. Those are the ones, because I wanted the Steelers to take them. Like and I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm still in the back of my mind, like, no way. The Browns, I feel like, are going to trade Shedeur. This is the first time I'm saying this publicly, by the way. I think the Browns could potentially trade Shedeur. I think if he doesn't give them everything. So here's what I think they're going to do. They're going to let him go. He's going to play in the preseason. He's going to do all the things. And then if we see him in the preseason play a ton, I think that is the trigger. That's the sign of they're either seeing if he's worth a lot, if they're going to get phone calls for him, or they're seeing how this is going to work, because you don't take Dylan Gabriel and then double back and take Shedeur.
Right. You don't like that is insane. Right.
I don't get that.
You saying
and
that
I think
though,
and I think the Steelers didn't get him. Like, knowing, I thought I was wrong in this whole thing. I thought I was wrong with the Kenny Pickett thing, and I thought they weren't. I didn't think they were going to deal him until I started finding out more information about certain things. And if they knew they were going to deal him, then you don't go get Shedeur, because the problem is you don't want that clock to start when you're trying to rebuilding and restructuring your team. So it's like, again, with more information, right? The further we get removed from the draft, the further I see what the Steelers are doing. I'm like, now I get why you don't go get Shedeur, because for what? Well, we have other issues, like other issues. It's like, why get Shedeur? And you don't even, anyways. So that's how I feel. But it honestly broke my heart when they took Tyler Shook. I don't know, whatever. And then when they got Dylan Gabriel, I was like. And then I think the Seahawks got Jalen Milroe, and I was just like, So,
and I like Milroe. I believe in Milroe too. I believe in his mentality. Yeah, but
I like it.
But your take on him should be traded. That's like, I appreciate the take, but I would hate that for him. That he would have to get traded after training camp, then go to a new team, and then have to that would just be the worst situation.
But here's what I always say. I love the NFL because it's a business. It's actually why I love it more than college. That doesn't mean I don't love college football, but I love the business side of it because I like business. And business is, what can you do for me? What can I get out of you? And then you got to go. That's kind of how the transactions work. And when I strip away the fact that he's Shedeur Sanders, if I just look at him as a quarterback, he could potentially be an asset. And there's no greater asset besides maybe a pass rusher, maybe a left tackle in the NFL than a quarterback. Right. And if Flacco looks decent. You know what I'm saying? Good, good enough. Let's just say good enough. And then if Dylan Gabriel comes in and he's cool, right? He's learning, he's growing, he's developing, he's doing all the things. And then you have Shador, and he's average with Dylan Gabriel. You know what I'm saying? My point is like,
no reason to have
if
him
he balls,
mm-hmm.
somebody's going to call and be like, listen, somebody's going to lose a quarterback before the season starts, right? Someone's going to get injured. Someone's going to, right? Somebody's going to have a quarterback. They're going to look terrible all training camp. My point is, they usually shift and move after training camp. And I hope I'm wrong. And it's Dylan Gabriel that leaves.
Yeah, me too. Or Kenny Pickett, you know, but.
Or Kenny Pickett. That was the other, I forgot about him. So that's another thing. So it's like, and people hear this and they don't hear me saying, they hear me saying Shador's the worst out of them. That's not what I'm saying. The NFL is about dollars and cents. How much Shador is going to probably dollars and cents you more for another team than any of those guys. So if I'm going to trade somebody, you trade the best asset.
Right. No, I get you. I get you.
Anyways, but I hope he stays and plays awful when he plays the Steelers and plays well against everybody else.
Dang. Well, I think a lot of quarterbacks have a hard time playing the Steelers defense, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Being honest.
I'm going to Lamar Jackson him. So my Lamar Jackson rule is I don't ever cheer against Lamar when he plays the Steelers. I don't want him to beat my team though. So like when he gets sacked or anything, I'm not into that. Like, I don't like it. Yeah, right. I don't like it. Okay. But I don't cheer for him against my team. So that's kind of where I fall. So if he beats us, he beats us. It is what it is. But if we beat him, as long as like he's not hurt or something like that, I'm like, cool. You know, like, so and I'll have to do the same thing with Shador. Like I can't cheer for him against my team, but I won't wish, you know, any you know, whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So the 2025 Buffaloes, how are you feeling? Are you feeling confident? I know last year you gave me a win total. You gave me a record.
Probably something ridiculous.
It was. I don't know if you were super fanned out then. I can't remember.
I am. I tell you, I drink the Colorado Kool-Aid. I probably got a cup in the refrigerator.
But you at least admit it. I respect that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I'm way too logical to drink anybody's Kool-Aid. I'm like, I don't see it. No, I don't see it. That doesn't look good to me at all. Like, so, yeah. And then I have Texas though, to be fair. So for me, I see Texas and I'm like, this is what it's supposed to look like. Okay, that ain't that. That ain't. That's not. We're not moving the same here, guys.
Right? Yeah, Texas. Yeah.
So, and I tell people, I'm like, I get that jades my opinion a little bit, but it is what it is. Like,
now, so what are your predictions? Okay, yeah. My predictions for the season. Can we get 10 wins? 10 wins.
So yeah, you're definitely drinking the Kool-Aid.
Well, if we can get 10 wins, our defense is still intact for the most part. I mean, you lose Travis Hunter, but we still have our cornerbacks. We lose another cornerback in Colton Hood in the transfer portal, who, I mean, he was going to be
Hood. I didn't like that Wester left. I think they're going to – the guy that nobody is talking about that I think they're going to miss is Cameron Selman-Craig. And nobody wants to talk about it, and everyone wants to act like somebody will just pop in and replace him. And I'm like, all right.
But, yeah, I think our defensive line is going to be – I think that's going to be our strong point. And I'm hoping that – and I'm hoping that somebody this year, whether it's a guy that transferred last year and he's got a year in the system, or one of the new guys they brought in the portal, somebody or 4 other guys to just be as good as close to Seton. So whoever wins the quarterback position is going to be protected. But I like our quarterbacks. I like Juju. I like Caden Salter, athletic ability. I like our receiving room. I think we're probably going to have one of the better receiver rooms in the country again. I like our cornerbacks, DJ McKinney. Okay. Yeah, I mean, RJ. Maybe I'm too fanned out on Colorado. I don't think
that's fine. Yeah. Well, I just want to say this, and then we can move on. Jordan Seton needs to really focus this summer to show that he's elite. And I'll just leave it at that. Because after that spring game, I was like,
yeah, you did say that last. I remember that. Yeah, you were like, I remember you said that. Like,
and everyone was like, no, da-da-da. And I was like, watch the film, DM me. And literally one by one, people were like, okay, I see you. I'm like, okay. Like, I don't know anything from anything, but I can tell you when an offensive lineman looks a little slow and flat-footed.
I tell you. I hope sophomore year he's
he just needs to, and players like that sometimes just need to kind of refocus, right? Reshift, refocus. It was spring. Maybe you weren't up for the spring. Maybe you were whatever. So that's why I said I'll give him all the excuses. I don't care. I'll give him excuses all day. But on what is it? April 29th? I'm not giving him any excuses come April 29th. I'll give him all right now, but I'm not giving him any April 29th because you know me. If I see something on April 20th or August 29th, you know how I am.
Because with him being like last I was saying, with him being like the number one tackle coming out of high school, that's kind of like who's that guy that Texas had like that? Was he a first
Kelvin Banks? Yeah, he just went to the Saints.
Right. So like he's supposed to be that guy. Like,
and thank you. You get it. You're supposed. So this is okay. This is now about me. So this is what it's supposed to look like. When you watch an offensive line play, and you should know who the guy is, because every time somebody runs into that guy goes the opposite way, and your guy goes that way with him. That's what it's supposed to look like. So if you're a tackle and you go out wide, even that guy still doesn't ever get through or pass or around or under, right? Because you're always moving them that way, especially in a practice that you tell me is vanilla. You're supposed to look so amazing that I don't even look at your way. But when I don't see that, I'm concerned because that's the expectation I have for you. So that's why when people say stuff to me, I'm like, go watch Kelvin Banks and come back to me. And they're like, okay, I see what you're saying. And I'm like, not Kelvin Banks last year. I'm talking about Kelvin Banks freshman year, sophomore year, junior year,
I remember he was on my drafts, like top 5 pick after his freshman year. I remember his name.
So, and that's why I tell people, like, I know everyone's like, oh, you're so hard on Colorado. I'm like, if you guys are talking about national championship, what do you want me to do? You want me to be like, oh, I hope they do good. No, I'm hard on Texas.
I respect that.
That. I get in Sark's, like, people are like, maybe. And I'm like, no, he needs to be better. Like, come on.
I do want to ask you about Texas real quick, if I can. What do you think about Arch Manning? Before you answer that, because a lot of people, let's just tank for Archie. Forget this draft. Let's tank for Archie. Like, what's your honest opinion about Archie from the sample size you've seen?
There's a couple of ways to answer this. The plan for Arch has always been they wanted him to play a couple of years as a starter in college. That's always been the plan. He was going to redshirt, play a couple of seasons as starter. That's whatever. We all know about plans. Then they get to semis. Ewers comes back, so it kind of bumps back Arch a little bit. So I don't think Arch is coming out next year. Now, if Texas goes 11 and whatever, undefeated, wins the SEC and wins a natty, that's probably a different conversation, because now it's like, do you need to do this again to prove that you can do it?
Right.
Or if let's say they win the national championship and don't win the natty, or don't win the SEC, or they win the SEC and don't win the natty, then I think he comes back. I don't even think it's a question, because that's always been the plan. So that's how I feel about people tanking from Arch. I don't think it's real. And you can't persuade him to the NFL with money, because he's making like $10 million or something like that, like being at the University of Texas. So there's that. He's amazing. So whatever. As far as his sample size, I think he's going to be electric. And I think my projection is against Ohio State, I think he's going to look absolutely phenomenal. I think he's going to look great. And then I think what's going to happen is, as the season kind of goes, he's going to come back to normal. I don't know what normal is. And that's kind of where I'm at, is because the season will go on, right? Defenses will pick up on him. Coaches will pick up on him. Our toughest games this year, we're away at Florida. So we're in Florida. We're at Georgia. We always play Oklahoma. Neither one of us are at home. So my point is his hardest games this year will be away. And I just don't know what that means for him. I don't know. We haven't seen him prep from game to game.
Right.
So that's another thing. So I don't know. I don't know if he's going to turn the ball. Is he going to be a turnover guy? Is he going to be a high risk, high reward? Is he going to be, I'm going to move out of the pocket like Lamar Jackson anytime anybody gets close to me? Are you going to take sacks? Like, I don't know that aspect, but I think he's going to look good against Ohio State. And I think everyone's going to be like, oh my God, he's so great. He's so good.
Oh yeah. If he do that, yeah, they're definitely going to be tank for Archie, tank for
exactly.
You already know.
Yeah. So that's what I think. If I will say, throw out a caveat, if he does not play good against Ohio State, I think he's going to be phenomenal. So that's kind of like the thing, because I don't know. There's this weird thing about football players that I've noticed that, like, when they start bad, they're so hard on themselves to never be that bad again. And they're usually not, because they put in that extra time and that extra work. But if you come out and you're really good, you usually kind of, like, remember when Lamar Jackson first came out? It was like, bro, oh my God. And then it's kind of like, okay, his arm.
Except when he played the Bengals. Did you see this? He was doing spin moves, and I'm like, is he playing, man? Like, what is he doing to us?
That's what I'm saying. And then over time, he kind of has leveled, right? And you kind of know what you're getting with Lamar. And I just think that's natural. I think that's the natural progression of a quarterback, in my opinion. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. People will be watching and following and having tons of opinions, just like when my Steelers play on national televised games. Nobody knows anything about the Texas Longhorns, but week 1, everyone's going to know everything.
Yeah, for sure. Right.
Yeah. So let's get to this overtime. I know this is about the Bengals, but listen, we're talking football. Okay. I always tell people I could talk football for like hours. I don't care.
Absolutely.
I could talk about it. So overtime round is supposed to be 4 downs to get a touchdown, because I'm cheesy.
Okay.
And that's what we're doing.
Okay.
So who is a division rival that you love to hate the most, and why?
Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, because they beat up on us. They've beat up on us so long. It's just like that terrible towel. It's just, I want to blow my nose with it. It's Pittsburgh, But I love Mike Tomlin. He seemed like such a good guy, but
But no.
To beat up on us. Yeah.
I respect it. What's one thing you would change about your franchise? Ownership, stadium, uniforms, anything that you would change about your franchise? What would it be?
Just be more aggressive. Be more aggressive in free agency, trade during the draft. Like, I don't remember the Rams GM a couple years ago, F them picks. I wish we kind of had that mentality a little bit more, not be so conservative and penny pinch on guys and bank. That's kind of wish we would be a little more aggressive.
Yeah, I wish that too. So here's the question that everybody's answering, the different questions. So the question was, and by the way, I've memorized these questions, and I probably should write them down so I could look at a screen. But the question was, if you could swap one player from your team and one player from your rivals, make it just a player swap, who would it be? And why? Some people have interpreted this question of, if you could go take a player from any team, who would you place on your team and why? So you can answer it however you want, or both ways. It's totally up to you.
I was going to stick to what you said, division rivals, and the first guy I was going to say was George Pickens. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, but if I can get Highsmith, or those guys from Baltimore, like Oweh, just give me another edge. I'll give you guys a second round pick. Just somebody to help Henderson. I know we probably can't get Watt and Myles Garrett, but if we can get one of those other guys that's very productive, bring them on. We got capital for you. We got draft capital.
I like that, actually. And then the last question is, describe your team's fan base in 3 words.
Passionate, delusional, and scarred. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. We're a little delusional. We're passionate, and we're definitely scarred. What do
you think Bengals fans are delusional about?
We're kind of like Cowboys fans now. I heard Stephen A. say Cowboys fans get the Super Bowl every year. That's kind of like how Bengals fans. Joe Burrow, what was it, 2021? That just changed our whole perspective.
Spiky. Yeah. Yes, expectations change
every year now. AFC Championship or bust, every year. And in reality, not necessarily going to be the case. So we just,
That is so funny. I don't know if anybody's called their fan base delusional. Somebody said a word. I can't remember the word. And it was another like good word like that, where it was like, I can't remember. And I busted out laughing because I'm like, that's a really good word. Because it's true. Like sometimes as fans, you can be a little bit like, it's not happening, friends. Like it's just not. But okay, like go off. That's awesome. So those were all of my questions. I would love to open this up for you. If you have anything that you want to share, that you want to add, anything like that. I don't think I said this, but like I always do, every single collaboration I have, I will put everyone's information in the description. So if you're looking for it, if you've made it this far and you're like, where do I find this guy? I will put it in the description and you can find him. I promise. I don't hoard information. And then the other thing is, if you see this and you're interested, he's definitely worth a Twitter follow, because do you remember in the off season when you were like, somebody came over from Colorado and you're like, what are his numbers? Like somebody give me like his film. What are his stats?
Yeah. You like, don't even bother. I was like, dang. I was like, okay, then. Well, I saw that.
Don't worry about that one, bro. But don't worry about that. What about the next one? No, but the next one. Don't worry about this one. Anyways, sorry. Sometimes I say things and I'm like, I probably shouldn't have said that. But I mean, he didn't have any stats.
I like that's okay. Keep it 100.
So, anyways, anything else you want to say or end with? We're gonna end on you. So.
Oh man, I love the conversation. I'm excited. Hope you guys enjoy the conversation. Comment below, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel. Let's blow it up. And Uday and Scope Ups.
Oh gosh, bless your heart. Anyways, thank you for joining.